Hey guys, this is Alex, and today I want to teach you two super important SAT and ACT math strategies. These two strategies are money, and they will help you with so many SAT and ACT questions, including questions on the concepts that you haven't even learned in school. So, strategy one, and write this down in your notes. Strategy one is plug answer choices into the question and check if it is the right answer. Okay, I'll move this over here. So plug answer choices into the question and check if it is the right answer. Okay, so I'll give you a moment to write that down. And what does that mean? Let's look at this example question here. If x is a positive integer such that x plus 1 over 2x equals 10 over 16. In one of the previous versions of the book, this is 3 over 16, so change that to 10 over 16. There's a small typo there. Then what is the value of x? Okay, and there are a couple ways to do this question, including what the typical way and I think what the SAT or ACT way of doing this question is for you to do the algebraic way or maybe cross multiply. But let's say you forgot how to do that, or you just want to try and see if this strategy works. You know that the question is asking for what is the value of x. And given these four choices, you know that x has to be one of these choices. X has to be either 1 or 2 or 4 or 5. So what can you do here? And what can you do here is by plugging in 1 for x and see if it works. And if it doesn't, you plug in 2 and 4 and 5. At some point, you will find a choice that makes this sentence correct, and you will find the value of x. So let's try. If you put in x for 1, on the left side you have 1 plus 1, which is 2. And at the bottom you will have 2 times 1, which is also 2. So you have 2 at the top, and you have 2 at the bottom. It's 2 over 2. But obviously 2 over 2 is not 10 over 16. So choice A is wrong. And we know that right away, so we can cross out choice A. Then choice B is x equals 2. So you put that into x. 2 plus 1 equals 3 at the top. And 2 times 2 equals 4 at the bottom. And 3 over 4 is not exactly 10 over 16. In case you're not sure, you can simplify this 10 over 16 into, let's say if you divide the top by 2, so you have a 5 at the top. And for the bottom number, 16 divided by 2, you have 8. So 5 over 8, and that is not 3 over 4. Okay, so B is wrong. And then you look at choice C. Choice C is 4. So 4 plus 1 equals 5 at the top. And 2 times 4 equals 8 at the bottom. And there you have it, 5 over 8. So the answer is C. And if you want to try the last one, D, 5 plus 1 equals 6 at the top. And the bottom, 2 times 5 equals 10. And 6 over 10 is, if you reduce that, you get 3 over 5, which is also not 5 over 8. So the answer is C. Now the second strategy is, write this down in your notes. Second strategy is substitute small numbers. Small numbers, they're like numbers like 0 or 1 and so on, etc. 0, 1, and so on into the unknown in the question. Okay, write that down. Substitute small numbers such as 0 or 1 and so on into the unknown in the question. And what does that mean? Let's take a look at this SAT question. If n is a positive number and m equals 2 to the n plus 2 power plus 2 to the nth power, what is 2 to the n plus 3 power in terms of n? Okay, and this could be a pretty complicated question if you want to solve it algebraically. But keep in mind strategy number 2 here, substitute small numbers into the unknown. The question says, if n is a positive integer, but it doesn't tell you what n has to be, and there are 3 n's actually, n plus 2, n, and n plus 3 in the question. So one way to solve this question is put whatever you think is a simple number for n is into the equation. So in this case, it says n has to be a positive number, so 1 is the smallest positive number they can put into the question. And when you put 1 into the question, you end up with m equals 2 to the, instead of n plus 2 power, this would become 2 to the 1 plus 2 power, so 2 to the third power over here. So 2 to the third power. Okay, plus 2 to the nth power, and again, n is 1. I'll write n equals 1 over here on the side just so that it's easier to see. Okay, so n equals 1 and equals equal sign there. Cool. So n equals 1. And so 2 to the nth power, 2 to the first power, and this is what m equals to. Okay, so if n equals to 1, then m equals to this number, and we can solve what this number is. Let me draw an equal sign here. I'll draw a line here, and then let me just move it up here so that looks like an equal sign. Cool. M equals 2 to the third power plus 2 to the first power. And this equals to 2 to the third power is 2 times 2 times 2, which is 8. And 2 to the first power is 2. So 8 plus 2 equals 10. 10. Okay, good so far? Okay, so m equals 10. And the question asks, what is 2 to the n plus 3 in terms of m? And here 2 to the n plus 3, and again n equals 1, so 2 to the, this is essentially 2 to the fourth power, which is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. So 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, so this is 16. So the question really is, what is 16 in terms of m? And m is 10 here, 10 because we got it from here, so 10 is m. Let's make it that way. All right. And what do you do next? You plug these numbers into the choices and you see which one works out. Okay. Question says, what is 16 in terms of m? And m is, you get 10. So a, you get 10 right here. Put it here. So choice A becomes the number 10 equals to 10. And this is not the number that we have here. What is 16 in terms of 10? 10 is not 16, so A is wrong. Then you look at choice B. Choice B is 2 times 10 over 5, so that's essentially 20 over 5, and that's 4. That's also not 16, so that's, again, not the right choice. Choice C, 8m plus 5, and 8, this is 8 times m. M is 10, so this is like 80. 80 over 5, and 80 over 5 is 16. Hey, so C works. But because you're plugging in a random number, you have to make sure that all the other choices are wrong. So let's check choice D first to make sure. And choice D has 2 times m to the second power, and m is 10, so m squared equals 100, and 2 times 100 equals 200. So this choice D, 200, is also not the right answer. So you know, then the answer is C. And one thing to watch out for here is, what if when you put in n equals 1 and you end up with C and D both equal to 16? And that happens. That just means that the number that you chose here for n happens to be working for multiple choices. So if that happens, then you plug in another number for n, let's say like 2 for n, and check C and D and see which one continues to work while the other one doesn't, and then you get the answer. And so here's the small number that you can put in for n in this case is 1. And when you put in 1, then n equals to the number, this, and this would be n equals 10. And then you plug these numbers back to the choices, and you check, and you get the answer to be C. Hopefully that explains what the two strategy means. Now there are practice questions at the bottom, and I'll let you work on them and go over with your teacher, and hopefully you can get all of them correct. And again, keep in mind the two strategies here. Strategy 1 is you plug in the choices into the question. You look at the choices and you plug them into the question and see if the equation works out. And strategy 2 is you substitute any small number that you can think of that satisfy the question. If n is a positive integer, then you put in numbers like 1 or 2 or 3. If it just says if x is bigger than y, then let x equals 1 and y equals 0, so that x is bigger than y. And just plug in numbers and check all the choices. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, just let us know. And I'll see you next time. Goodbye.